Relationships are key in an early years environment. It is the bond between teachers and students that is most important.
Parents choose to send their kids to school much earlier than maybe back in the day.
Back in the day, most of us also lived in joint families, not in crowded cities like Mumbai, had a lot more space, a lot more things that children would be exploring and learning.
What is it that we should be prioritizing while picking a preschool?
Place where the teachers care to understand the whole child. Maybe your child's mood, your child's feelings, their emotional wellness, their food.
What is it that parents today are struggling the most with?
I think parents are struggling with 2 or 3 things. One is, when is the right time to join preschool? Second is, will I get through the school of my choice? And third is, how many classes should I send my child to?
What is the IB Regio method?
Let me take the playgroup program, which is the first independent one that children begin. As they get into the classroom, they start off with free playtime. This is when children are just settling into a new environment. After that, we move on to circle time, which is great for building vocabulary, to get to know each other, who's come to class today, who's missing today, where are our friends. And then we move to the most exciting part, which is activity time or center time, where this could be art, sensory, fine motor, pretend play, block play.
I want to ask a very controversial question.
Go for it.
What are your views on interview training? Today we're talking about something that easily becomes one of the most important decisions that you make in early parenthood: choosing a preschool for your child. Children's brains develop the most till the age of 5, so a preschool is extremely important. Research shows that early learning environments shape the way the child actually relates to the world. So choosing the right preschool isn't really about worksheets and academics. It's actually about choosing a place where your child feels seen and safe. Hi, I'm Sneha Javeri, your fellow mommy friend and the host of Mama Approved, a podcast where I ask all your questions to the best people in the business. Today, we're joined by Pooja Pillai, the head of school and managing partner at Toddler's Den, a school that is inspired by the IB Regio method, a method that is well respected to nurture independence and child-led learning. Pooja is an alumni of Columbia University. She has over 13 years of experience in the education field. Her areas of expertise and passion lie in fostering relationships with parents, teachers training, and creating a primary school program. Thank you so much for joining me. So I actually want to ask you, what makes a early years program thrive?
I think that's a great question. I would say, so an early years environment thrives when children are allowed to be themselves.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the most important things for us at Toddler's Den. I would say relationships are key in an early years environment. It is the bond between teachers and students that is most important. And only then can we see that learning really happens. So when children feel safe, secure, they feel comfortable in the emotional and physical environment, that's when we can see that they can take steps towards learning. So relationships would be key here.
We see this trend of parents choosing to send their kids to, I'm going to say the word school, but I mean preschool or some form of earlier program kind of school. Like, parents choose to send their kids to school much earlier than maybe back in the day. First of all, why is that? And second of all, what are the misconceptions that most people have about preschools?
I think I get this question every other day about when is the right time to join preschool. And I understand that today parents really think about back in the day, we didn't go to school until the age of 3 or 4. But today, our understanding of preschool, of early years, of what children can be and how their brains are developing has changed so much. That's one of the key reasons. I would say, back in the day, most of us also lived in joint families, not in crowded cities like Mumbai, had a lot more space, a lot more things that children would be exploring and learning. But today we see, working parents, children in nuclear families, and there's only so much you can do at home. And I can say that even as a mother and an educator, there's only so many toys that I can buy for my child. But giving your child a chance and opportunity to join preschool can help them develop in so many ways, right? From their social development, emotional development, just simple things that is interaction with peers, is beginning to follow a routine, learning independence at that very young age. I think one of the misconceptions that parents have is that, do we really need to learn ABCs and one, two, threes so early? And I say that most children who've joined toddlers then have probably already learned the ABCs and one, two, threes, probably through Alexa or their grandparents or parents. So we're not even teaching that.
Yeah.
We are really going beyond that.
Yeah.
On in an academic way, we would say conceptual understanding and really what do these numbers mean, and understanding that numbers are all around us and what are different strategies. That's really the educator point of view. But beyond that, a preschool environment is just a place where children feel safe, secure, where they can take their first steps of social interactions with their friends, give a chance to explore so many different learning areas through an open-ended exploration, whether it's art, sensory, fine motor, pretend play. We in just 2-3 months, we hear parents saying that, wow, my child is communicating so much, or I can see such a big change that I didn't expect that they would, after they started preschool. So I think more and more parents are understanding that being in that social learning environment really helps children grow very.
I don't even think it's parents because, as you said, because we live in joint families, what tends to happen is we have lots of heads that are choosing for our children, right? Which is a great thing. But sometimes when the mother has chosen, there'll be somebody who will say, oh, already? I mean, your child is not even like, I did mother toddler with my 8-month-old at that time. And my mom told me, isn't she a bit young for school? I said, this isn't school. This is fun. So I guess, of course, that whole mindset is shifting. But this shift, it's going to take time till, I guess, our adults also understand that the kids are actually gaining so much when they come to a structured environment where they're socializing with peers. They're learning how to and then I think that transition to school also is much easier because they already go to school.
Absolutely.
So we don't see kids howling, crying, screaming, shouting in big school as we did when we were growing up, if you remember.
Absolutely. I think we, at the age of 3 or 4, we found it difficult to take our very first steps. But today, an 18-month-old is starting preschool, and by the age of 2, they are, fairly confident, ready to walk out. And at the age of 3, make it to big school.
Yeah. So, what do you think is, what should a parent look at? And like when they're making this choice of a preschool, what are those things that a parent should look at and prioritize? Because today, and speaking purely out of being a parent, we're torn, right? Because you have we have so many amazing schools now in Bombay, but we also have this thing of, maybe I should do this because my friends are doing this, or maybe the crowd is a certain way, or something like that. But I would love for you as an educator to maybe tell us, what is it that we should be prioritizing while picking a preschool?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I think I see parents under so much pressure today to, like you said, choose a preschool that their friends are choosing, or feel like they're missing out if they don't go to, a particular school. And will their child be at par with others? Are we doing something, less or not enough? But as an educator, I would say first is to really shut down all that extra noise that really can influence you. So parents influenced by WhatsApp groups and social media, and every other parent. Of course, parents do share, what their experience was in an authentic way. But when you go looking for a school, I'd say visit at least 3 to 4 schools and look for which school is a culture fit.
Yeah.
Which school resonates the values that, you have as a family. More importantly, a school where relationships are key. A school that feels like a partnership between the parents and the teachers, where you feel that your child is going to be safe here, that you can trust the adults that your child is interacting with, that they know your child very well. And in today's world, of course, a 40-50 student class with a teacher is not really what most of us, wish to be in. But, a place where the teachers care to understand the whole child, which is not just focusing on ABCs and 1, 2, 3s or just academics, but really understanding maybe your child's mood, your child's feelings, their emotional wellness, their food.
And maybe if your child is having a tough day, it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Teaching them, what what can make them feel better, or just taking care of them in that moment. So just a more holistic approach. Relationships matter. Beyond that, I would say, safety, security, hygiene is really important for every parent. So those are also factors to keep in mind, and probably distance would be the last one. When I know many parents don't want children to travel a lot, and if they are very very young, we should keep that in mind. And sometimes probably going to whatever we call as the not the best school or an A minus or a B really is probably okay, because travel time and all the factors come together to influence really your child's day, right? So
And also the comfort. Sometimes we make, sometimes when we make choices, we're making the best choice, but sometimes it's not the most comfortable choice for our kids.
yeah, I
So I think that is
how
something.
that yeah, absolutely, how it affects your child's day, their energy levels, and everything else also plays a huge role,
Yeah.
right?
But what do you think parents are struggling with the most? Because I know that one of your passions is that you foster great relationships with all your parents and you know each and every history. And I know that you love to do that. So, in your interactions with new parents, what is it that parents today are struggling the most with?
I think two things I would say. One is, when is the right time to join preschool, like we were discussing earlier. And second would be, the struggle to get through the school of their choice, the pressure of admissions to big schools. Today, it feels like right after nursery, you're applying for admissions to Harvard or Stanford. And that's how, to see, anxious parents, unhappy parents, parents putting all the guilt on themselves, or all that pressure on themselves is really sad. But I think parents are struggling with two or three things. One is, when is the right time to join preschool? Okay. Second is, what do I do about big school, and will I get through the school of my choice? Yeah. And third is, how many classes should I send my child to? And will I be, left out if I don't make it? And look at that other child going to 5 classes and I go to none. So these are some things that we're usually talking about when I meet parents. I would say, there's it's never too late, or I would say never too early to join preschool, because anytime after 16, 18 months, children are more than ready. And over the years, I've realized that the earlier they begin, keeping aside other factors, health and everything else being great, they are able to settle in much faster and easier. And sometimes after the age of 2.5, they begin to have a strong sense of self, and that makes it a little harder for them to break those first couple of weeks, and build those relationships. So anytime between 18 months to 2 years is a great time to join preschool, and you shouldn't really wait for those perfect developmental milestones. Some parents feel that we need so many prerequisites to start school, but really, if you're in an environment that accepts your child the way they are and starts from where they are at, this would be great. Another thing would be, like I was saying, admissions and big schools. And, I tell parents that none of this was there when we were there, and we turned out fine.
So, why is that? Why do you think that is? Why do you think that? Why do you think it was not so much of a pressure what school we went to? Of course, our parents wanted the best schools and everything, and but every parent thought that they'd pick the best school for their child.
So I think so much has changed in education, in careers, in opportunities. That time it was clearly just, art, science, commerce. Every school had to just teach. In those days, we thought that content and school was about what children should learn. But today's schools are about how children learn, and what are the skills and values that we can give them to prepare them for the future. It's not about exactly those history textbooks and geography textbooks anymore. This information is available everywhere. It's also, we've realized so much about emotional well-being. I know in those days we just went to the neighborhood school, the closest school to our house, and I think that was very convenient and great. So even coming back to the school choices that parents make, I would say, choose a board, and then after that, yes, apply to the top 4, 5 schools, but know that your child will be absolutely okay and will do very well if they are at any of these 5 schools. Don't put yourself under that pressure that if I didn't get to X school, it's
I've
done.
lost out.
I've lost out and my child is not going to make it. Because at the end of the day, this entire journey is about the child, their home environment and the school environment together. So you can still make your child whoever you want them to be, and they're still going to get great opportunities, better than probably you and I did. So they're going to do well anyway. So we really need to cut that.
And especially, we're always chatting about this, especially today, when they have millennial parents, right, who are putting in this horsepower energy and has made that child a project. That project can't fail.
Can't fail. Absolutely.
And everybody, the teachers, the grandparents, the parents, everybody is basically just rooting for this one child. And I think it is quite amazing that this is what is happening, and we really don't need to be so stressed about the child losing.
We're doing more than we need to. I mean, my father says, we were just 8 brothers and sisters, and nobody even looked at us. We turned out fine, and one helped the other, and my siblings are the ones who brought me up. My mom and dad were probably busy with the first 3, and
and the mental health was absolutely fine.
Yeah, they did fine. They ate what the others ate. They played what they played. They learned from each other.
Yeah.
But today, yes, as you said, we have 8 people surrounding one child and trying to do the best for them. So sometimes it should go easy.
Yeah. So what is the IB Regio method? Because that is what the approach that Toddlers Den follows. And it is a little different, I believe, than the rest of the schools. I don't think there are very many preschools, correct me if I'm wrong, that follow this approach.
Yeah, I think we are one of the only preschools in Bombay that follow the IB method, especially. And, we are in the process of being authorized as well. But we do draw from different philosophies. So the IB is one, the IB Primary Years Program, the IB PYP, and the Reggio Emilia. I think all preschool philosophies are grounded in the same value that, children are the center of everything, and we see things from the child's viewpoint.
Yeah.
But especially what, distinguishes the IB is the transdisciplinary approach. And how I explain this to parents is, we went to school, a typical traditional school. It was English and a bell rings, math and a bell rings, history and a bell rings. But real life is not like that. When we grew up, we realized that when we are traveling, we are experiencing the world through so many things. When we go to a place, we are looking at the geography of that place, the science of that place. We go to a grocery store in a new country, and we see the kind of products we get there are based on the kind of soil there is, the kind of vegetation there is. We are using English, math, economics, so many subjects to understand that space. And that's what real life is like. So IB themes and units, their entire way of learning, their curriculum is transdisciplinary, where multiple subjects are taught through one central idea. So one central idea will help you see different perspectives. And that's what helps children apply that learning immediately.
Yeah.
They also focus a lot on values and skills, which is beautiful, where we think about our learner or our student as, can he be a risk taker? Is he caring? Is he a thinker? Can he be a good communicator? And we develop these skills. And I think these skills and values are going to go a long way ahead, where we are preparing our children for a future where, we don't know what kind of jobs they will have.
Yeah.
So it's the skills and values that are sort of going to prepare them for a world ahead. Right? So that's a little bit about the IB.
Yeah, it's because I did a little bit of research and I realized that most schools follow a very different method, and there are many of those methods.
Yeah.
But I think Toddlers Den does something very different. And while I was walking up the stairs also, I saw lots of IB resonating, things that you all have done, even in the decor of the place.
And even looking at Reggio, we love taking children's interests, children's ideas into our learning, into our conversations.
Yeah.
If you look at our walls, they're speaking of each child's work is different.
Right.
And, what they really want to say, what they think, how they feel, we really take that into consideration and take learning ahead.
Yeah. So what does a typical day look like in school after the child enters? What is the day? Just to give a little visual tour to a parent who has never approached a preschool or has gone into a preschool.
So we have various programs, of course, but let me take the playgroup program, which is the first independent one that children begin. So teachers greet you at the gate. They give you, some time for you to just get comfortable and come in with them. As they get into the classroom, they start off with free playtime. This is when children are just settling into a new environment. Every child comes with something that has happened that morning,
Yes.
the breakfast table, or, getting up late, or your mom and dad after you. And so this is just their calming time to get comfortable into that learning environment, begin to socialize with their peers, and really, get set for the day. That's their free play time. After that, we move on to circle time, which is great for building vocabulary, to get to know each other, who's come to class today, who's missing today, where are our friends. We do a lot of language and communication skills through rhymes and songs. And then we move to the most exciting part, which is activity time or center time, where in various grades, children will move to activity learning centers that are set up for them. This could be art, sensory, fine motor, pretend play, block play.
And they choose where they want to go?
Yes, they choose where they want to go. And we've seen that that really helps, children actually stay longer at centers that they are more interested in. And teachers are trained to bring them to centers that they might not choose as well over time. So one thing that we do is we keep the centers on for the entire week, unlike trying to change activities very, very fast, so that children get multiple opportunities to try that skill, to get better at it. And sometimes if they don't make it to a center, also the teacher figures out other ways to make it interesting, to bring them to that center. And we'll see that, we also don't constantly have to stop them when they're interested in a center. So center time, activity time, which is choice based, teachers are around taking notes, observing, helping children learn through that. We have lots of extracurriculars here. So music, art, dance, Spanish, and so on. So children would have some of the other extracurriculars. Physical play is really important. So whether it's again music and movement, outdoor play, etc. So some amount of physical play and a couple of extracurriculars, and then they would have their snack time, closing time. So that's roughly what a day would look like. Snack time is somewhere in the middle, but they would have a good amount of center time, and then sometime in maybe the atelier, which is our art room, or it could be in our outdoor area or others.
Yeah, I saw that. I mean, how lucky are the kids to have an outdoor area in a place like Bombay, which is amazing, because usually that's what we lack, right? We don't get that outdoors. The kids don't get it to play that, the gross motor or whatever we call it.
They love it. And sometimes they begin their day with outdoor play, and that just sets the tone for the day. They release all their energy. Sometimes it's sand play, water play, lots of things. So it's definitely one of the highlights.
I'm going to ask you a very controversial question.
Go for it.
What are your views on interview training?
I mean, no, definitely a no. I think that's it's parents putting the pressure on the children for interview training. And today, schools are changing so much in understanding how children should be interviewed. In fact, many schools have made that move to call it a student observation or a student interaction as opposed to a student interview.
I don't quite understand that when the school has already made that difference, where it's not really an interview, where, in the traditional interview where you went to the class and that some teacher came and asked you questions and you had to solve some worksheet, and all that doesn't exist, I believe, anymore.
Absolutely. And learning shouldn't be related to rote memorizing things that children already know so much. So I think parents need to understand that whatever they know and everything that us and the child's village has sort of got them to prepare is more than enough for that interaction. And sometimes whether they get through or not is not a function of whether your child is good enough or not. There are so many factors that go in from the admission point of view. Sometimes this, school has lesser seats, etc. So parents really should be, your preschool should probably just prepare you to be comfortable in that student interaction. And that's more than enough, rather than putting our children through, all that pressure.
And especially when I believe that now it is genuinely not required. There are a handful of schools that actually call in these 4-year-olds who, to come in. It's usually just, they come and they do exactly what they've done in their preschool, pick their station, play. I mean, I remember it from my time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was very pleasantly surprised because I was expecting an interview. Obviously, it was not an interview.
Absolutely.
So that's why I thought I must ask you this question, because if there are new parents who are watching this,
we have to move away from it.
You have to, at least for the child's sake, and this is our anxiety that actually makes us make these choices, which, if we have enough information, then we really don't need to make these choices.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Pooja. This was absolutely amazing. I got to learn a few things as well.
Thank you. This was a lovely conversation. Thank you for being here. And
thank you for allowing us and opening your home to us. We are really, really grateful for that.
Thank you. Thank you so much.